Hello everyone, I'm Simon from Personal Finance Europe, and today we are going to talk about the FIRE movement, or how you can use it to retire within 10 years. To do this, there are three things that you need to do: heavy saving, frugal living, and investing as much as you can. The idea is that by doing this you gather a large pile of money that you can then use to fund your retirement. This means that you can safely retire before the age of 67, as is the case in most countries today here in Europe. So how much do you need then to actually safely retire? Well, the answer is actually quite simple, and basically it's your annual expenses multiplied by 25. If by that rule you don't withdraw more than 4% each year, you shouldn't ever run out of money. This means that in order to be able to safely spend 20,000 euros each year, you actually need €500,000 invested to safely retire. In this example, it means that you need to save about 1,000 euros each month, or 12,000 per year, for a period of 20 years. And this really sounds like a lot, which it is, but there are three ways you can make it a lot easier for yourself. The first way is actually pretty simple, and that is just to start as early as possible. If you start about 5 years earlier and your horizon is at this time 25 years, then you only need to invest about 650 euros each month to achieve the same result. So basically the longer your horizon, the more compounding interest, or the interest you get on your interest, or interestception, does the work for you. The second way is actually just by buying a house, since housing is probably going to be your biggest cost anyway. Say for example that you bought a house that has a mortgage that is 1,200 euros every month. Then after 20-25 years, however long that mortgage is, it is suddenly paid off. Well, then you don't have that recurring cost anymore, which obviously means that you can afford to retire with a lot less. Say for the sake of argument that you are able to survive with about 10,000 euros each year then that means that you only need to invest about 250,000 euros, or 330 euros approximately, over a period of 25 years. And this seems a lot more doable, right? The third way is actually the most obvious one, and that is just to save and invest more money each month. This is done up until a certain point by cutting back on your spending, but after that, the only realistic way to do it is simply to earn more money. So then the €500,000 question: is it actually possible to retire really early, like for example at the age of 30? Well, yes, for some, but sadly not for everyone. You can retire that early, but doing so requires a lot of sacrifices and a high income, and probably even both. And some sacrifices might not be that difficult to make, like for example the decision to delay having children. I know from personal experience that they can really cost a lot, so if you want to know exactly how much, then just subscribe. Another thing that most people in the FIRE movement also do is by just living way below your means. So even if you earn a lot of money, to just simply live in a small apartment, for example. So that's also why I say it isn't for everyone. You need to earn a large amount of money, and you need to make some sacrifices that you might not be willing to make. And you might think to yourself, then why should I even bother? Can't I just retire at the age of 65 or 67 or whatever the retirement age will be then? And here immediately we have a problem, because when will that be? The retirement age was set at 65 since the average life expectancy back in the day was about 65. A few years ago here in Belgium, the retirement age went up from 65 to 67 years, but the average life expectancy has gone up to about 81 years. It doesn't take long to figure out that this will put a large strain on the social security system, and that one of the possible effects of this is that the average retirement age will go up even further in the future, or that the average pensions will in the future go down. And there are other good reasons for joining in on the FIRE movement. I'll give myself as an example. I don't intend on retiring early, and this might sound counterintuitive to the whole video, but hear me out. Think of it as the FI, or financial independence, part of the FIRE movement. If you have enough money to survive and pay for your basic necessities, then you will automatically also have a lot less financial stress. It gives you a lot of options. If, for example, you always wanted to be a painter or open your own niche clothing store, but you know that you probably aren't going to make a lot of money in the first few years, then through financial independence you actually just have a safety net to do so anyway, and it doesn't matter if you even don't have any sale the first few years. Even if you're not the entrepreneurial type, if you are stuck in a job that you absolutely hate, then by all means just quit on the spot. Or if, for example, your dream is to travel around the world and hitchhike across Australia, I don't know, then by all means just go do that, fulfill your dream. you have no more financial constraints to hold you back. And that truly is the power of financial independence, to be able to do basically whatever you want, within reason of course. However, there is one big counter argument I would like to address as well, and that is that some people say that you really need to live in the moment as well, and that through the FIRE movement this isn't possible. And while I don't completely agree with this statement, there is some truth to it. For example, I see people online in the FIRE movement that take every possible shortcut they can to be able to retire slightly earlier. And I think personally that this concept is completely flawed as well. And why do I say this? Well, the sad reality is that no one can truly predict the future. Especially as you get older, chances are you might have known some people in their 40s, 30s, even in their 20s, who sadly aren't among us anymore. And if by some chance this is you or someone close to you, then would you be happy knowing you went out of your way to save every single last cent that you could? And for example, delay that trip you've always wanted to take, or buy that computer or watch you've always wanted? And this really is the point I'm trying to make. Don't sacrifice everything just so you can possibly retire slightly earlier. If they aren't sacrifices for you, then great, by all means do it. But in any other case, don't forget to splurge every now and then if it makes you happy. To give myself as an example, when I just started working, I did 2 trips to Vietnam and Bali. And while they might set me back financially, I wouldn't trade them in for any money in the world. Because for me they were really special, and even now I often still think about them. The same goes for my decision on having children. I already have one baby boy crawling around, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Just to sum everything up in this video, if you want to be able to retire early, invest as much as you can, save as much as you can, and live as frugally as you can. But when you have that long-term vision, don't forget to have some fun every now and then as well, and don't worry about it either. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, leave a like and comment down below. And also Simon says to subscribe, so do that as well. And then I hope to see you next time. Bye.